Yeah, this video is more than likely going to ruffle a few feathers, but here are my top 5 teams in the AFC post-draft. Yo ho ho, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Show. As always, your host, Dan Mitchell. Now, say that you're new here. My name is Dan Mitchell, and I regularly put out videos about the Buffalo Bills and the NFL in general. If that is your cup of tea, I highly recommend subscribing to this channel, and as always, smashing the ever-living out of that like button. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I absolutely despise power rankings because, number one, no one knows a damn thing. It's whether or not free agency comes to light, whether or not the draft is complete. We really don't know how these new additions on these teams are going to implement in an entire new offensive or defensive scheme. Is maybe someone decides to completely forget how to play football? Is maybe all these new additions go through a significant regression period that we were completely unaware of? But I'm doing my best in this video. I am going off of my gut feeling of where exactly I see the AFC going into 2023. And let's be honest with ourselves, the conference is stacked. It's literally the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL outside of maybe 2 are located in the AFC. It's going to be an absolute slugfest. So as you can imagine, me ranking these top 5 teams was relatively difficult, but we're going to do it anyway. Number 5 on my list is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, I did say Duval, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, last year, I had pretty high expectations for Doug Peterson taking over this organization, but let's just say he over-delivered. I mean, outside of the fact that he led his team into the playoffs, his first season coaching, they pulled off one of the largest comebacks I have seen in playoff history, and that trajectory is just going to continue into 2023. Now, Trevor Lawrence, you've heard me say this on this channel a time or two. I sincerely believe that this kid is without a doubt going to be a part of the MVP conversation. I really see him hitting his stride. And of course, it helps out tremendously that Calvin Ridley has finished his sentence for putting down $30 on a parlay and will add right to this Jacksonville Jaguars offensive attack. Defense has been causing fits for teams for a long time, and that was even before Doug Peterson. Not a lot has changed in that department. Some say their draft was hit or miss, but they did end up adding to that offensive line and certainly filled in a couple of holes. It also helps tremendously that they are in the AFC South this year. I mean, the Tennessee Titans are not a threat. The Houston Texans are certainly not a threat. And the Colts more than likely are not going to be a threat. So with that being said, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at number 5. Number 4, I have the New York Jets. For the longest time, I would always love to troll New York Jets fans by calling them the New Jersey Jets. It is true. But I feel like at this point, they have earned their right to their actual name, the New York Jets. Man, last year when I look at this team, they were simply a quarterback away. I mean, with the amount of wins that they were able to put up last year with Mike White and Zach Wilson, adding Aaron Rodgers to this team, along with Garrett Wilson, along with Lazard, who Aaron Rodgers has plenty of chemistry with. Their defense is absolutely loaded, especially on the secondary. Their defensive line is still an absolute menace when it comes into stopping the run and pressuring the quarterback. This team will be a force to be reckoned with. And as a Buffalo Bills fan, I am not looking forward to playing them twice a year, but this team's going to be firing on all cylinders as long as Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy. Oh no, Dan, not another ad read. Trust me, you are going to thank me for this. Now, as many of you know, I work extremely long hours, 7 a.m. until I about pass out at 11 or midnight Monday through Friday. And you would think that I would be able to go to sleep and rejuvenate. You're absolutely wrong. My mind is still going a million miles a second, and for the most part, I'm staring at my ceiling until 3 a.m. Now, that is something that I have accepted for myself, but I needed to make a change. I needed to start taking naps, but once again, I can't nap either. Whether or not that it's my FOMO, or whether or not that I just can't get comfortable enough, or it's too bright, I have had no such luck until I ended up finding the Manta sleep mask. Now, little do you know, Manta truly believes sleep needs to be the number 1 priority in order to achieve that particular level of success. Now, these things are ridiculously comfortable, and literally the second that you put it on, you feel like you're right next to Aaron Rodgers during one of his darkness retreats. I mean, look at this. Literally can't see So you know what? I should probably apply to officiate in the NFL. Prerequisites right here. Now, Manta has several selections on their website. This particular is the Sleep Mask Pro. This company and this mask has really been able to help me prioritize what is most important, and that is my sleep, so I can keep on giving you that juicy content, baby. So whatever you're doing, go to that link in my bio and make sure you put in the code DONMAFIA, and they're gonna give you an extra 10% off your first order. Trust me, you will not regret this. Night, night, bitches. Number 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. With the addition to their offensive line, with the addition of left tackle Orlando Brown Jr., that is going to give Joe Burrow plenty of time to try and find some of his favorite targets out on the field. They have the best wide receiver trio in the entire NFL. They're speedy, they're physical, and they're going to be a problem for a very long time, especially with Joe Burrow being behind it. The reason I have them at number 3 is because they suffered quite a few hits on their secondary. So while they did their best to attempt to fill in some of these holes, particularly in the first couple of rounds of the draft, you have to realize that these guys are rookies, and unless by some miracle, it's going to be difficult for them to really rise up to an NFL fully caliber established player within their first year. It's going to take time for them to catch up to the overall NFL speed by itself. I don't see their defense being as elite as they were as of last year. That's why I have them at number 3, but still an absolute shoo-in for that division. It's number 2, I have the Buffalo Bills. Now, really as a Bills fan, I can look back, and before the draft, I was having a very difficult time in convincing myself that the Buffalo Bills got better, especially when I was looking at what the Dolphins were doing, what the Jets were doing. I felt like we had the exact same team from last year, but then all of our competition, specifically in the AFC and in our division alone, was taking leaps and bounds. That was until after the draft. 2 major acquisitions, number 1 in a Dalton Kincaid, which is arguably one of the best pass catchers in the entire draft. Yes, that's including with all the other receivers that were there. Amazing route runner. I have a feeling this guy is going to step up, and he's going to be one of Josh Allen's favorite targets, and then hopefully be able to take some of the pressure off of Stephon Diggs, draw off some of those double teams, and allow Gabe Davis to actually be a wide receiver 3, where he absolutely flourishes. Guy is not a wide receiver 2. We learned that the hard way last year. I'm really hoping that Dalton Kincaid can step up and fill in that gap. On top of that, we have Osiris Torrance, absolute Mack truck, 3,000 snaps, no sacks allowed. It's going to give Josh Allen his ability to step away from the mindset that he should also act as a running back for this team and just focus on getting the ball to his playmakers. It's going to help out our run game, and our defense is basically the exact same as last year outside of Tremaine Edmonds. But overall, I don't see the Bills going anywhere. I still have them winning the division. I think it's going to be pretty tight. I think that there will be 3 teams in the AFC East that make the playoffs this year, but it's still the Bills for now. And last but not least, the Kansas City Chiefs. They are still at number 1. As much as I want to sit back and try and come up with some takes saying that since Orlando Brown Jr. is gone and since Andrew Wiley is gone, that their offensive line is going to take a massive plummet and the Chiefs are not even going to win their division and not make the playoffs. Not the case. With Jawan Taylor coming in, I think that that's going to mitigate some things. With Eric Bieniemy being gone, really curious to see how that offense looks now that that tenured offensive coordinator is going to be gone for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career. It's the Chiefs, man. It's the Chiefs. As long as they have Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and just the overall offensive play calling that Andy Reid has been able to provide for that team, this is a team that's going to be haunting us for a very long time, and I'm speaking to anybody that does not follow the Kansas City Chiefs. So as of now, that is my top 5 list of the overall AFC power rankings. Do me a favor, leave something in the comments. What is your top 5 teams right now? I am always interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out, and before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.